Good evening, everybody, and welcome again to a Thursday night mini league. Absolutely, really looking forward to tonight. Quite a few changes over the past few weeks with additional ballast, and of course now myself and Speed are choosing the tracks and the cars. These guys have got absolutely no idea until they log on. We've got 2 minutes left of practicing, and we've come on early on purpose this week because we want to introduce a different concept that we're bringing for this particular event and going forward. And that's we've had thousands of letters and parcels and bomb threats and all sorts of things because people just don't want to listen to me anymore. And so as a result of that, we've opened up to some talented RWB members and we've asked if they want to have a bash at commentating. And we think that's important. It shows what RWB is all about, all inclusive and giving opportunities to everybody. So tonight we've got 4 guys that are going to join us for commentating, which is great, and they'll have a race each. But before I do that, of course, I've got to introduce our indomitable friend. Now, some people say when you get a flu, it will knock you out for a week, whereas when Speed gets a flu, he catches it and puts it in a cage. All we know is it's called Speed. How are you, buddy?
Feel like I'm dying, mate.
Oh, there. You're not dying, you can't be, you're an alien. Aliens don't die, they just fade away, surely.
Well, I'm fading away then.
Always good to have Speed here, and he's that font of knowledge. So let's introduce, with 50 seconds left then, let's introduce our guest tonight. So first up, we've got Forgotten, RWB Forgotten. Great to have you with us from Belgium. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hello.
Yeah, brilliant. And what are you looking forward to tonight, racing-wise or commentating-wise?
I'm not really expecting anything. Just hoping to see some really good racing and have some fun commenting.
Well, you've just said 2 wonderful words that, embodies RWB: fun and good racing. So that's 2 words, is it? It's 3 anyway. Next up, Jammer, our lovely Jammer, and the music you've heard from him on 2 occasions now. Fantastic music. So now we get a chance to speak to him as well, and he's going to get a chance to speak to you. Jammer, how are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Good evening, gentlemen.
That's what he sounds like.
So,
you see?
Yeah, there it is, gleaming and happy.
And what about you, Jammer? What are you looking forward to tonight?
So yeah, like Forgotten said, looking forward to watching some good racing, doing a bit of commentating, and also possibly adding some value to RWB because it's such a good environment, a good thing to be a part of, and just want to be able to give some back.
Well, that's great, Jammer. That's a wonderful opener. And Jammer, Forgotten, and Draco, who's not with us at the minute, but he'll join us later. Draco is from the US of A, the United States, and he'll be joining us for race 4. On to our 3rd commentator, which will be joining us for this first race at the Autodrome Most, and that's Seahax. You've seen him in action in the F1 League. Now we've got him in the commentators room. Great to have you here with us.
Great, it's great to be here. It's great to be here in this filthy, sticky, sweaty commentator's box.
I take exception to that. It's not bad at all. What are you on about? Charger Centre Cleaner in. Brilliant. Seahax, great to have you with us, mate. I know you've been keen, as everyone has, to give this a bash, and we're really pleased to be able to do that. Tonight, let's just remind ourselves, as normal. So, the mini league is all about short qualifying and short racing. 6-minute qualifying sessions, 8-minute racing. The whole point is to get RWB members together and get out there, enjoy racing with each other. We've got currently 15 runners, and we're at the Autodrome Most. I'll give you a quick bit of information, and then perhaps, Seahax, perhaps you can tell us what you think of the Autodrome Most, if you can remember it. I mean, a lot of people can't. But, anyway, so it's on the west of the city of Most, in the northwest area of the Czech Republic. It's a GP circuit, this. Quite big, 2.6 miles, 4.2 kilometres. 21 corners. That's a lot of corners, Tom, isn't it?
That's a huge amount of corners, and it's going to be particularly difficult to commentate on them tonight because I don't believe any of them have names.
No, you're absolutely right. They don't. That's a very, very good point. 9 left, 12 right. Once upon a time, I thought that if you've got too many left and too many, or not enough right, and there's no parity there, would you set the car up differently? But you know, our resident dolphin speaker assures me that's not the case. So 9 left, 12 right. Now there are S's around here. There's an extended parabolica. What's a parabolica, Tom? Do you know?
It's just an elongated hairpin, right? It's a long turny, righty, lefty, long corner, lots of...
righty, lefty. Wonderful. Now, poor old Speed. Speed, can you tell us what a parabolica... No,
Corner of equal radius.
There you go, it's a corner of equal radius. Extended chicanes, and as Tom, and I'll refer to him as Tom now, it's C-Hacks, but Tom is easy for me, 21 named corners, and they're simply known as T1 to T21, simple as that. First permanent motor racing facility in the Czech Republic, opened in 1983, and the local area of Most has history of motorsports going way back to after World War II. National circuit this, and has seen some international events, but like most countries, you know, they have hundreds of racing venues. Just because we don't see them on telly doesn't mean to say they don't exist. So Autodrom Most, there you go, Czech Republic, and actually this is a big, the old Czechs are very big into their truck racing, so this is the home of the Czech FIA Truck Grand Prix and other national series in the Czech Republic. Brilliant. Cool. Okay, so Tom, you said you don't know much about this circuit. I've got to be honest with you, I don't ever remember going around it.
It's the same here, mate. This is my first time here at this circuit. I've not driven a single lap around here, so it's going to be tough commentating on the sort of characteristics of how the race is going to go. It looks super interesting. Lots of interesting turns and twists. Plenty of good racing features. There's a few long straights, some heavy braking zones, so we should see some, you know, some overtakes, some action-packed racing. So I'm really looking forward to watching the race.
Yeah, very good point actually, because the circuit is quite elongated, isn't it? I mean, if you were to try and relate it to, I don't think we can put a track map up. Let's see. No, sadly, there's no track map up. But if you were to draw Autodrom Most, you know, it's pretty much like a sort of like an R. It's quite narrow, and as you heard C-Hacks Tom say there, you know, there are lots of sweeping bends. The track's quite wide. There should be plenty of overtaking. Let's just have a quick rundown before we've got 50 seconds at the end of qualifying. C-Hacks, you just want to take us through, you know, the timings that we've got at the minute.
So at the moment, in first place, we've got RWB Sammy, who's put in a best lap of a 1:28.662. That's a full 0.3 faster than second place, who is the Swede with speed, RWB Limpan. He's in second position. Third place is Benjamin Rosinger with a difference of 0.6. You've got John Haig, Rigel, Mr. Smug, who's a second off the pace. Jens Fiedler is a 1 second 0.4 off the pace with a 1:30.1. And then you've got another Swede, F.E. Felk, who's 1.5 seconds off. And I believe the race is starting just... have we got much time left?
Well, I think there'll be a short sort of transition time, but I think it's usually about 40 seconds. There you go, a minute for them to get onto the circuit. But a good rundown there. So, who should we be looking out for during this race, do you think?
Obviously, you can't discount Rigel in any of these races. He's just super consistent, no matter what he's driving. He's got that track knowledge. He's an absolute RWB veteran, thousands of hours in the rig. So he'll be up at the front, running with the top guy. I haven't actually seen Lim race. So the Swede with speed. I haven't seen him race recently, but I used to race with him a few years ago when I originally joined RWB, and he's very quick, and I'm not surprised to see him up at the front with Sammy.
Yeah, very good intro. We'll use this first race. Let's get a wider shot. We'll use this first race as after they've gone into this first corner here, as a bit of an intro of them all. Right, 2 and 3 abreast there, really great. Why don't you take us around the first couple of laps?
Yeah, sure. So you've got Sammy Sammy is in the lead at the moment. He's right behind him. You've got Fiedler, and in third position, it's just moved up into second. You've got Limpan. It looks as though the pack is really tight. There doesn't seem to be too. And Limpan's off there. Looks like he got a little shunt in the rear from Fiedler, I believe. Rosinger's now up into second position. Lim's moved down into third. Rigel's now up into fourth. Again, the pack's still pretty compact. Some tight racing going on. 3 abreast there in the back. Did you see that? Oh,
yeah.
Some guys off in the gravel.
Yeah, someone's just gone off there. I think that was Jens Fiedler.
Great stuff. Yeah, so some action-packed racing going on at the moment. So we're just following around Sammy. So Sammy's pulling away at the moment. Looks like he's managed to pull away from the pack. He's not doing too much battling at the moment. Yeah, he's well ahead. He's actually managed to pull 2.5 seconds away from the pack. So he's on for a win here if you can keep this going and keep it clean and on the grey stuff, as you would say.
And that's quite extraordinary. I mean, we need to remind ourselves, don't we? This is a mandatory setups. These are the DTM 05 Merc Benz mandatory setups. No fuel wear, no tyre wear, no flag rules in a certain amount. There are some track penalties in play, but you know, as you say, I mean, you know, look at the time differential there between CSAN and Limpan and Rigel. You know, the top 3 there. I mean, crikey! I mean, that's a hell of a lead he's pulled out, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like after, you know, we're on the second lap now, and it looks as though the pack's starting to spread out a little bit, and we're starting to see a little bit of air between the racers. Has managed the Swede with speed. Limpan has managed to get away from Rigel. He's back into second place now, and he's trying to close that gap. He's at a 1.7 now, so I think he's managed to knock off about half a second, and he looks to be gaining, although we are going through one of the sort of slower sections of the track right now. So we'll see sort of when they come over the straight whether or not he's managed to close that gap. But yeah, some interesting racing going on at the moment. Like I say, it's lots of air between the races at the moment, so it's just get your head down, get some fast laps banged in, and try and hold on for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it, about the Thursday night, is that you've got 8 minutes out there. So if you fall off the grey stuff, then actually, you know, no matter how quick you are, you're going to be up against it to make your way through the field. So this really is it not, about qualifying well and then positioning yourself well for this race. And as you say, you know, you've got CSAM here, who's just a commanding performance out there, you know, all the way back to the chief track master, 2.5 seconds, you know, 4 seconds in total, 4.7 seconds. So I mean, that's, you know, that's really quite significant. 4 minutes 20 seconds left of this race. Let's just quickly use this time, as we do on every Thursday. We'll go all the way through the pack. I'll tell you how we'll do this, C-Hacks. I'll do one, then we'll go to the next guy, and then you do him. A few words on him, and then so on all the way down. All right?
Yeah, yep, sure, I'm with you.
So with CSAM on the back of CSAM, looking back there, a couple of seconds to Limpan. CSAM, you know, right up there in the top quadrants of RWB. Watch out for this guy, super quick. On to Limpan.
So on to Limpan then, the Swede with speed. He's looking to close down on Sammy at the moment. Him and Sammy, the gap between those is holding, but Rigel is sort of falling back a little bit. There's about 3 seconds between him, so it looks like it's going to be between Sammy and Limpan for the.
Yep, and on to a great segue there. On to John Haig, Rigel, the chief track master from Game of Smug. For him to be in 4th place behind CSAM, well, you know, is unusual. But of course, we've got to remember he's carrying ballast, and you know, we'll talk more about ballast later on. 3 minutes left of the race, and we are going to get through the field. So on to Felke.
So Felke, I'm not sure. Felke's a new guy to me, so I don't know much about his history with RWB. But he's actually locked into a battle at the moment with Isaacs. Only a time differential of 0.2 between these two, so he's going to be battling hard for that 4th place with Isaacs.
Yeah, Felke from KE Racing, always welcome to Felke, and good to see you out there again. On to Isaacs, son of Rigel, son of John Haig, and Isaacs, great, as I said it before, but, I like to see him on the old dirt rally, does well on that as well, and really enjoys his racing. I think he's got a fair bit of ballast there, as we just see him go off, but good to see Isaacs out there again. On to Charger.
So, need I say, do I really need to introduce Charger? He's actually running a really good race. He's in 6th place, which is, quite unusual for Charger. Yeah, quite remarkable. He's having a really good race at the moment, Charger. So go on.
Yeah, quite remarkable. Remember, guys, 68, 9 kids, 18 grandkids, osteoporosis, most of the time in a chair. Vasaro rig that after 20 minutes absolutely shakes his spine to nothing. He's a haemophiliac, and sadly, over the last week, has just been told some bad news. He's got to have his toes off. He's got ingrown toes as well, so how he's going to change in gear, we don't know. Plus, of course, don't forget his bag needs to be emptied. On to the next guy, Ben Rossinia, or RWB Ninja. RWB Ninja, new to RWB, but very, very talented. He also races with Cookie Motorsport, and good to see him out there. On to Rick Binnersley.
So Binnersley is, again, one I don't know all that well, but he seems to be running a good race in 8th position. He's catching up to Rosinger, up to RWB Ninja. He's 1.2 seconds behind. He seems to be running a really good race. He didn't seem to have picked up any damage or anything. He's just got a nice, steady pace, and he seems to be doing.
Yeah, he's doing well. Someone just smashed into the Armco there. Yeah, Rick Binnersley is a regular runner. You'll always see him in the middle, sometimes approaching the top quadrants. Seconds to go, so we're going to be really, really quick now. Let's go to Gandalf FX. That's not Gandalf, is it?
I just wanted to say that it looks like there's been an incident there. It looks like 2 or 3 cars actually came off. Rick's actually moved from about 9th position up into 5th, so there's been a big incident there.
Yep. Jens Feldler from Germany, good to see him out there. We mentioned earlier on Martin Peterman from Zero Force, very talented. Both these two from Zero Force, and we mentioned Ninja. Pinpoint is out there currently in 12th. Then we've got Orange, who sadly didn't join us tonight, but he'll be joining us another time for commentary. TK, good to see TK out there, and finishing off with Edwin Alandro, who's joined us before. So there you go. There's a rundown of everyone racing. 15 races. That's the end of the first race. As usual, we don't get to see much action of the first race. It's very much about introducing those RWB members and giving them the screen time. Saying that though, C-Hacks, they're on the last lap now.
Yeah. So we just want to be watching Sammy now. Looks like he's got a comfortable 1.3. A 1 second gap to Limpan, the Swede with speed, but it does look as though he's closing that gap a little bit. It looks like he's got a bit of slipstream. He's throwing the whole Hail Mary, getting that car really sliding into those corners there and really pushing the car to try and close that gap for the win. He has closed him down from a 2 second gap, but it does look like he's a little bit slower through the is this the Parabolica, or is this onto the final straight? Yep. So it looks like Sammy's going to take the win with Limpan in second. So congratulations to RWB Sammy. Well done. You run a good race. Well done to Limpan for keeping it on the grey stuff. Now on board with John Haig, Rigel. He's come in with a comfortable third, and his boy Isaacs in fourth. I'm sure he'll be dead pleased with that result. And Rick Binnersley, who has come through in fifth after getting through that incident that happened. Got sixth position to FX, seventh to Fiedler, Peterman coming up in eighth. We've got Pinners, the indomitable bulldog voice of Pinners, coming through in 10th. You've got Felke in 12th. Rosinger actually came in through 11th. TK coming up the rear in 13th. We've got Orange down in 14th. So a tough race for Orange. Actually, it looks like he's a good few seconds off the lead. And he actually handbrake turns it over the finish for a phenomenal bit of pizzazz there. So race win event, Sammy. Fastest lap is Sammy as well. So he's obviously had a fantastic race. And he'll be looking for good things from him for the rest of the evening.
Marvellous. Well done. Thank you, C-Hacks. That was great to join with you, and hopefully we'll get to hear from you later on during the night. I think you've done a great job. You enjoyed that?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, it was good fun to commentate. And I look forward to having another crack at it at some point in the future. Cheers.
Well, we'll see whether we can get you in for another one. So, I mean, you've done the first one, which is pretty much intros. We'll give you some time later on tonight. There'll be one race where perhaps you can jump in and throw yourself right into it right from the very beginning, rather than doing the intro. So, thank you very much. We'll rejoin with you later on. Next up, I believe, is Jammer. You there, Jammer? Jammer.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, you're on. I say again,
there we
you're
go.
on.
I think I wasn't unmuted for a minute, but yeah, well done to C-Hacks. It's going to be certainly a tough act to follow.
I think you've done absolutely marvellous.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Ground control to Major Tiger. Come in, Major Tiger.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I thought it was just me.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yep, loud and clear, mate.
What happened there? Was it a push to talk issue?
I'm not sure. I think you just dropped out for a minute.
Oh, I do apologise. Okay, well, so we are, as I said, thank you, Tom. Thank you, C-Hacks, for joining us on that one. We'll give him another race later on during the night, I think, Jammer, so he can throw himself into that. Good to have you with us, Jammer, for this second race. We're at Zhuhai in China. Jingding Guangdong. Took me... What on earth are you doing, CSAM? 360, 720, 9, something or other. Guangdong province. You can get here from a ferry from Hong Kong, actually. GP circuit this, 2.68 miles, 4.3 kilometres. 14 corners, 10 right, 4 left, 1 hairpin at T7, and 14 named locations. And they're just named simply as T1 to funnily enough, T14. First permanent racing facility in People's Republic of China, this was. And it was essential for national racing scene and semi-regular events. In the mid-90s, this was the early GT race location. If you wanted to GT race in the world, this is where you came. And in those days, it would attract over 200,000 people. Rebuilt in 96 to how it is now. So there we go, Zhuhai. That's where we are now. Jammer, how do you feel about Zhuhai as a racer? You like it?
I've got very, very fond memories of this track. We brought it up a couple of weeks ago. We had I think it was GT3s here. This is going back a couple of years now, when we were still racing in project cars, and we had a GT3 league here in thunderstorms, and it's.
Oh, you're right, Jammer. Have we lost you?
It's like that. So. Oh, can you still hear me?
Oh, I think we just lost you for a minute then. I think there were some bugs that jumped in that I had, that you had now, so...
It's the RWB gremlins,
it's the RWB gremlins. Don't worry about it. This is RWB, not BBC or Channel 3. Just work through it, buddy.
No, that's all good. So yeah, very fond memories of this racetrack, and I was just saying that raced here the big thunderstorm a couple of years back, and it's been a talking point for the last couple of years. So it's a very interesting track, quite demanding, quite technical, but a lot of fun at the same time.
Awesome. 19 runners out there at the minute. Quick shout out to Timo. Always good to see Timo out there. Let's just have a quick look at Timo. Timo with Cooperation Racing Network. Fantastic. I always am a little bit humbled, but at the same time I know it's necessary. When it comes to interoperability between sim racing clubs, absolutely vital for the hobby that we do that we don't become siloed and elitist. And of course, RWB is all about opening its doors. So I'm always a little bit humbled when I see members from other groups that come and race with us. It's a bloody nice feeling, isn't it? Is it not, Jam?
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you there. And as you'll know, I took about a year's break from sim racing to focus on life and other things. And yeah, certainly a lot more involvement from people in other clubs, which is really great to see, because it's not only getting the name of RWB out there, but it's giving our own races exposure to other clubs and other people as well, which is really great to see.
Very good point. Yeah, that exposure is two-way, and of course, what we're talking about there is not just the people and establishing relationships, and by that I mean I don't mean going out with each other. I'm talking about establishing relationships in the sim racing world, but also seeing the speed, the tempo, the pace, and the discipline of those other clubs out there. We've been looking at Jan Fielder, I think it is, from Zero Force Racing. Now, Zero Force are very clean. They fit into the RWB mantra of racing clean, fair and for position, respecting other people and enjoying themselves. Absolutely. It's always great to see Zero Force out there racing with us. So yeah, glad to see him. Edwin is I think Edwin I always get it wrong. I'm so bloody sorry. He's from Switzerland. Edwin Alandro, I think it is. I'm not sure, Edwin, if you listen to this, whether you've got a home, because I think you're a bit of a lone wolf. And if that's what you like to do, just lone wolfing it and turning up and racing, that's what our Thursdays are all about. But you don't have to race alone. Race RWB. So step up, come pay us a visit. He'll be made most welcome, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always really good to see new members joining the club, and we've seen quite a few recently joining the club. So word's obviously getting out, and I think the stream we're doing now is also catching some attention, which is really great to see. And the numbers of the club just seem to be going up and up. So yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Great. Well, let's just give ourselves a quick sit rep then of where we are with qualifying. We've got 1 minute and 18 seconds left, and currently the fastest out there is the Swede with speed. Oh, he's just been nipped at the post by CSAM, 132.156. Now, these are DTM 05s. Is that fast around here? Do you know, Gemma?
Yeah, the DTMs tend to be quite stable, nice and easy to drive, and they will be quite quick along this track, especially down the straights.
Watching Luca Gray, and for the benefit of anyone watching now or later on, Luca Gray is Squid Flipper. Sometimes I refer to him as Squid Flipper, Flipper Lips, Squid, whatever. So if you're not sure, that's who I'm talking about. Luca Gray is Squid Flipper. What a handle. Bless his heart. 14 years old, Jammer, Squid Flipper is. And you know what? He, of late, particularly in the F1 league, is really showing some maturity. He's got that youthful exuberance, Squid Flipper, but he is certainly starting to mature, and that's probably by virtue of who he's racing with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for someone like him, who's clearly an exceptional talent, and I'm sure will go on to do many great things within either sim racing or actual racing, is always potential. And I think racing with the mature bunch of lads that we are, he'll certainly gain a lot of good experience from doing that, and certainly mature over time, and become a bit more confident.
Yeah, I think that's a fair and accurate statement. All young racing drivers in real life are youthful and exuberant and make silly mistakes. It's no different in the sim racing world. But as I've said before, and I'll say it again, it's young lads like this that actually go on to some great things. Sim racing is integral in real motor racing nowadays. Racing drivers, if they're not racing, guess where they're on? They're on a sim. So it's a fine line between sim and game, but this is most certainly a sim as they're away. First lap then of Zoo High, and in the lead there is CSAM holding his position as they're coming up into the first corner. Now let me get my track map up. Yeah, so yeah, then into T2. Now, do you know this circuit? You know this circuit well, Jammer?
Yeah. So this first section is actually very tricky. It's very easy to lose the back end through that first corner. So these guys have got to be. Oh, there's someone going off the track there. Oh, bit of an incident there by the looks of it. So that's not good to see. And again, I think someone lost the back end, as I was saying there. So it's a very, very tricky first corner. So you need to be exceptionally careful through there. But it looks like the first few have got through fairly cleanly with Sammy, followed by Martin Peterman, then Limpan, Charger, Rick Binnersley, Debug and Fiedler. So yeah, it's not opening up too much at the moment, which is good to see because we want to see some close racing going on here.
Absolutely, and Sam again with his commanding performance. He is just so very talented. Always interesting to see Sam race out there with Rigel, with speed, with Rodders, and the really quick guys in RWB. You're looking at one of them right here, Sam. So it's not surprising that he qualified well, not surprising that he's out there right now. But Martin Peterman, we shouldn't, let's not forget, Martin Peterman is very, very talented. Martin from Germany, I think it's Germany, let me check. Yep, Martin's from Germany, he was 0 Force, very talented again. You know, he's not letting Sam get away too much. I mean, Sam's 1.6 seconds in front at the end of the first lap, so perhaps he is. That's just a clear differential, is it not, between the talent of these two? Yeah.
It looks like Limpan's done a bit of a dive up the inside there and taken that second position, so I'm sure Martin will not be happy about that and will be looking to get... Oh, they're going right side by side here, so Martin clearly not interested in giving that position away at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Limpan just took him there, didn't he? So Limpan's up into second position now. As Seahack said earlier on, the Swede with speed. But Peterman's not just going to say, "Oh, well, crack on then." You know, I'm sure he'll have him. We'll keep a close eye. Charger is in fourth position. That's quite extraordinary, is it not? I mean, how does this man function?
Oh, his bag's going to be overflowing at this point. I'm sure he's going to be very, very excited about this.
Quite unbelievable. I mean, I doff my cap to this man, and the sheer tenacity that he shows sim racing. I'm sure. Well, we all know he goes into suspended animation after racing, and we won't see him until Saturday afternoon. Rick Binnersley in fifth place, Jammer. Rick's had a good race to be out there in fifth. I said earlier on the first race, Rick is a solid middle runner, but don't be at all surprised if you see him in the top quadrants. And here he is in fifth place. He's having a good one. Who's chasing him? Debug. You know Debug?
Yeah, Debug. I know Debug very well. He's another old schooler, been with the club for a long time. Again, he took a bit of a break from sim racing to sort his life out, as you would say. But yeah, really good to see Debug back. As I said, he's got lots of experience in racing, and it is almost one of not a founding member, but was very much part of the admin team of the club for a very long time and heading things up. So yeah, really good to see Debug back, and he's a very solid racer. Probably a bit rusty at the moment, but as he's on two wheels there.
Goes on two wheels. Now steady, Debug. This is Zoo High, not a circus. But yeah, keep her on the great stuff. Great to see you out there, and always, of course, you know, whether you were part of the admin team, whether you were a founder or whatever, you're an RWB member for life, and it's fantastic to see you out there racing it and bringing it against the other guys. You're being smothered there by Fiedler, who just pips you coming into this corner. But as I said, you know, great to see you racing out there. Now there was obviously a problem, Jam, because Sam's back down into seventh and is working his way through Fiedler. What do you think happened? I think we missed it, which is always going to happen on these short races. You just can't cover it all, can you?
Yeah, I mean, possibly having a battle with Martin or Limpan, and as I said, this track's just very, very easy to lose the back end on, so a possibility.
Yeah, a misjudge of a corner. I think I just lost you on the mic there. You know, it's breaking news, Jammer. Breaking news. Quite unbelievable. Look at what is happening here. This is quite unbelievable. This is, you know, this is like Donald Trump winning the presidency. This is like Boris Johnson becoming a prime minister, and Charger in second place.
He is going to be jumping up and down in that sim rig, I'm sure of it, and he's just going to be hoping that he can hold on for the next couple of minutes just to make sure he can get that second place, because he's going to be ecstatic with joy.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Charger right now, because you know he did have a private conversation with me during the week where he was explaining that he was getting seriously depressed with not being able to perform in general at home and not being able to perform on the track. Is he going to lose second position to Rick Binnersley, who's challenging him now, do you think?
I really hope not, and I think he's going to give it a good go to the end. He is going to be making that car as wide as he possibly can to try and stay in second place. And I think it looks like Rick's lost a bit out there, so I'm sure Charger will be breathing a sigh of relief, and his colostomy bag needs emptying at some point, I'm sure, because it is filling up.
Wow, wow, wow. There we see Charger in the white DTM Merc 05, keeping Rick Binnersley at bay by now 1.23 seconds. This man to come second, it will stave him from the Grim Reaper. He's that depressed about things of late, and I can't tell you how happy I am that he's in second place. He will be ecstatic. I'm willing to bet he's turned that Vasaro rig off, because after about 5 minutes the old spine crushes. And I think he's turned it off. That's what I think. And that's why he's second.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look a bit further down, it's also really good to see Debug up in 5th position. And I'm sure he'll be, as equally thrilled with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. 1 minute and 11 seconds left of the race. We'll keep a very close eye on Charger there. Keen to give some of the other guys some TV coverage. John Haig, the chief track master, down there leading that second packet. Just done a 135.112. To give you some idea, Limpan has just done a 132. So it's fair to say that Fiedler and Debug in that group there, who are in front of Rigel. So Rigel's got clean air. No one's holding him up, but he obviously had a problem earlier on. Orange down in 9th place. Good to see him down there. But again, he's a top quadrant runner, isn't he?
Yeah, and I think this is a nice thing about the mini league, and I'm not sure. I know certainly Rigel's running a large amount of ballast, and I'm not sure if Orange is as well, possibly. And the nice thing about this league is it gives some of, I don't want to say the slower guys, but some of the guys who are normally fighting in the middle of the pack a chance to be up front and getting stuck in. So, and the whole idea of this league is to improve racecraft, and where we've got the front runners who are probably used to running on their own a lot of the time are going to be fighting for position and jostling for position, and it's a great opportunity to improve your racecraft.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As Charger hold the position, Charger. Don't let it go, son. Keep a firm head when others lose theirs, as he just holds on to second position. So pleased for him. He's on his last lap right now, Jammer, and you're absolutely right. The whole idea of ballast, particularly for the faster guys, to give those middle runners and those slower guys the opportunity to be exactly where Charger is right now, right up there, where he's never ever won a race. This guy ever, he's never ever come second. He's always in the middle or towards. He's going to kill me later. He's always in the middle or towards the rear. He loves to be towards the rear. Charger. He's much more comfortable. Right he's much more comfortable in the rear. But you know what? He's holding Martin Peterman off now. Now he's lost Rick Binnersley. Can he do it, Jammer? But you're right about the ballast. It gives people the opportunity to lead and to be in those top quadrants. Don't lose it, Charger. Oh. Jesus Christ. Stay on the podium. Keep your cool. Fuck me. Come on, Charger. Get into second position.
He is going to have a huge amount of pressure on him right now, putting that pressure on himself, and he is not going to want to give this up. He is going to be concentrating as hard as he possibly can.
Please don't lose the position. Did he come second? He came second.
Fantastic result. Fantastic. He's going to be so pleased with that. He is going to be, jumping up and down Zimmer frame. He is going to be so excited.
I think his entry into the rest home will get delayed. I think the serotonin that will be released will give him a new lease of life. 9 kids, 18 grandkids. I reckon there's another kid on the way tonight. This man will perform. He is now full of spunk, full of courage, full of oomph. And you watch this man tonight. I'm willing to bet he won't go to sleep now. I'm willing to bet he won't go into suspended animation. We'll see him before Saturday. And second place, Charger. Brilliant. I'm sorry. Ambulance for me. Hand over to you. You want a rundown?
Yeah. So, not to take anything away from Limpan, And, you know, a fantastic race for him. He was clearly very dialed into the car with a commanding lead. I think 6 seconds it was. So fantastically well done. We've got Charger in second, followed by Peterman, Fiedler, Rick Binnersley, Debug, Haig, Rigel. And I don't think he'll be overly pleased with that result. And Luca Gray following close behind. Again, normally a front runner. So he's obviously got the ballast. So he's down in the middle of the pack. The new guy, Alejandro, great to see him in there, P9. Got C Sammy in 10th, who clearly had an issue earlier on in the race, then followed by Orange, Isaacs, Rosinger, Kunitsi, Eddie Ellis, and I can't see the results anymore. But yeah, fantastic race. Really enjoyed that. Some great racing in there, and you know, splendidly happy for Charlie.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I am too. Very, very pleased for Charge, and I'm very pleased for everyone. They had some great racing there, you know, with Rick Binnersley and Peterman and Limpan leading at the front. C-Sam with a bit of an issue, Rigel and the ballast, etc. And you're absolutely right, Jammer. The ballast does bring a different element to the mini league and does allow those middle and slower runners to lead the pack, and also allows those faster runners, just like we saw Rigel there, be in the middle of the pack and then practice their racecraft. And work their way through the field. Had the race been longer than 8 minutes, then you would have seen Rigel there really pushing his racecraft to climb up the ladder. Jammer, thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to speaking to you later on. Great job. Did you enjoy that?
You're most welcome. Yeah, actually really enjoyed that. It's good fun, really good fun. So thanks for having me, and I'm sticking around and looking forward to.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I think we're all looking forward to all of you so far and hearing you in the future. Great. Let's introduce our next commentator, which is Forgotten. How are you, Forgotten?
I'm doing great. Hello.
Really? I tell you what. How did you enjoy them first 2 races?
They were really good. I really enjoyed watching them.
What did you think of Charger coming second? I mean, crikey. I mean, that is like Boris Johnson in the UK winning a second term.
He did some really good racing, especially when he 2 other guys back from passing.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Okay. Well, Forgotten. Have you got any idea where we are now for race 3?
Yes, I think I do.
Where do you reckon?
We're in Germany.
We are.
In Oscherleben.
Is that how you pronounce it? It's Oscherleben, isn't it? Forgotten, you're from Belgium. You're a Belgian, aren't you? You're a Belgian man?
Yeah, I'm from Belgium.
Wonderful. Yes, so we are in Germany. We're in Oscherleben, Germany. This is the B circuit. 14 corners. Quite a lot of corners there for a short circuit. 6 left hand, 8 right hand, 1 chicane, 1 S section, 3 parabolicas. This is the 3rd permanent race circuit in Germany, pretty much after Hockenheim and Nürburgring. It's like the baby brother, really. It's fairly new, Forgotten. It was built in '96, and what was actually this goodness gracious, Orange, what on earth are you doing, dear boy? Spin it around, cut some grass, get back on there. Built in '96, and what was actually, this used to be a maize field. This used to be a farmer's, this used to be a farming area. But it only cost 58 million euros. Only 58 million euros for a racetrack is nothing when you compare this to, say, Sepang, or Shanghai, which was 450 million. 58 million euros in the big scheme of things is nothing. It's truly a motorsport complex, Forgotten. It's got VIP areas, corporate hosting, 5-star hotels dotted around the track. It's hosted F3000, FIA GT Series, World Touring Cars, DTM. So if you don't know of a track called Oscherleben, let me tell you right now, go and find out, because there's plenty of national and great international events run at this circuit. Forgotten, do you know this circuit?
Yes, I do know it a little. I've raced a few times here. I know it has a lot of long straights.
Take us around, please. We're looking at Jens Fielder from Zero Force. The floor is yours. Take us around.
So we start with the finishing or the starting straight, and then we go in the first chicane, I guess. That we get, and then we have a long. I really don't know much racing terms. I'm sorry.
That's alright. Just say it as you see it.
So you get out of the chicane and you have a long sweeping corner out of it. into a long straight where again at the back you have another long corner, and that's pretty much, as I see it, the thing that this track has. It doesn't have really tight corners. It has these long sweeping corners that you need to be really careful to take, because when you don't like get out on the gas too early, you are gonna get on the grass, which has happened to me a lot.
Yeah, and if you get on the grass or you hit them sausages on them corners there, you are going to get out of shape, as Speed says so many times. Like that, that's what happens if you go over those rumble strips, and that's because the cars are so low. Essentially, you're going to bottom out, you're going to lose traction, lose grip, and no matter how good a racing driver you are, or a sim racing driver, you're going to come off. So, exactly as you said there, Forgotten, stay off the grass on these things, and certainly, be very careful. Touch the rumble strips, but be careful, because if you bottom out on it, you've had it.
Yep.
You're right about those corners. They're called parabolicas, and this is quite a unique track where it's got 3 parabolicas, and it's a corner of equal radius, as we said earlier on. So it is quite unusual, isn't it, to have parabolica leading, extending out into another parabolica, extending out into another parabolica, and then into an extended S. So that's essentially this circuit.
Yeah.
Now this is only a short circuit, so as a result, you're looking at sort of 1 minute 1, 1 minute 2 quick lap times around here. So what have we got? 1 minute 25 seconds left of qualifying before the 8-minute race. This is race 3, isn't it? Yeah, I do believe it is. Yeah, race 3. So Charger in that last one there, second. So do you think he's on a roll tonight?
I hope for him that he can keep the good work up. That would be really, really fun to see.
Yeah, I would like to. I'd like to see Charger up there again, because all joking aside, and my excitement for him coming second was not a joke. But of course, the majority of the other stuff is. He is 68 and he has got 9 kids and 18 grandkids, and he has got osteoporosis, and he does sit in a chair with a bag, but everything else is rubbish. Anyway, it's good to see Charger and a few of the other guys right up there in that top quadrant. And as I said at the end of the last race, that is the epitome of bringing in ballast. I know that Charger has got some ballast, and of course because he's came second in that race, it may well be that in the next series, i.e. next week, that he may well get additional ballast. Yeah, good to see that. So what have we got? We've got 20 runners on this race now. I can see a few other guys that have jumped in. Koz has jumped in, the ever reliable Koz. Koz doesn't have any ballast, whereas, say, for example, Orange, I think Orange has got about 30 or 60 kilos, one of those two. FX, I think, has got 30 kilos. Yeah, good to see him out there. Right, Forgotten, do you want to take us around the first lap, or first couple of laps, or whatever? Are you comfortable with that?
Sure.
Awesome. "40 seconds then. This is their time to have their last cigarette, their last cup of tea, say goodbye to the wife, right their wheel, and get out on the track. Red lights on then, and then as soon as they're away, let's make sure we can see what's going on. We're going to be looking at Limpan in second place, and away they go. Over to you, Forgotten.
Yeah, they're off. Into the first chicane, and then right after. Oh, looks like Martin got off the track there, and Limpan and Fielder have taken over. And Sammy also up there with them.
Yep, he is. He absolutely is. Yeah. Yeah, that was quite interesting, wasn't it? Martin Peterman was leading there, and then went off. A little bit of door rub in there, but to be expected. Racing clean, fair, and for position. That is the mantra. But these are short races, and there's going to be some door rubbing. And not only that, of course, it doesn't mean to say that their racecraft is compromised in any way. There's no penalties or so forth. If you're going to drive like an idiot, this isn't the place for you. But you know, it is slightly lax with regards to door rubbing. But in general terms, you won't see Demolition Derby out there. Luca Gray up in 5th. He's doing well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's 4th, tenths of a second behind Sammy. So, and Charger is in 6th after him. So, looks like he's doing great.
Yeah, Charger will be challenging the Squid. In fact, no, sorry. Yeah, Charger will be challenging the Squid. Look at that. The Supercharger and the Fishman. Now, Charger will be full of oomph now, full of serotonin, buzzing up and down like a teenager on speed. He will want to be up there higher than 6th. He will give himself that estimation. You know, I came 2nd last time round. He came 2nd because of a couple of things. 1, pace. 2, the ballast differential. And 3, he kept it on the grey stuff. That is the whole point of these Thursday nights, is to allow the middle runners and the perhaps even the slower runners that opportunity to be up in the top quadrant. Charger demonstrated that perfectly. I keep referring to that because that was a perfect example of how you make a very old man very, very happy.
Yeah, there was really some great racing.
FX currently down in 8th place there, holding his own. Rick Binnersley in front of him. As we saw in the last race, Rick Binnersley can make life very, very difficult for you, as he did with Charger. But of course, you know, Charger just held out there and secured that 2nd place, which was just fantastic for him. But yeah, so FX then being challenged by Benjamin Rossini in dash with Benjamin now. And Ben's got some air, hasn't he? I mean, he's got he's got Orange behind him. Would you expect Orange to catch up?
Well, I heard that Orange is running on a controller instead of like a wheel setup, I think.
That's right.
So, yeah, so it would be amazing to see him catching up. I mean, I also race with the controller because I haven't gotten a steering wheel yet.
Well,
so I know.
Wait, let's rewind. Forgotten. Are you saying that you sim race with a controller?
Yes.
So I'm talking to someone else that races with a controller.
Yes.
I am not worthy of your presence. You must be. What do you have? 10 cod liver oil tablets a day. How do you keep the dexterity in those thumbs?
A lot of training, I guess. I don't know.
Well, fair play to you. You know, fair play to Orange and fair play to everyone out there. I think it's probably because you're of a generation that, you know, was playing Sims on consoles, and then when it came into sort of the PC area, perhaps you obviously thought to yourself, well, you know, I can use a controller perfectly well. Why go out and spend £1,000 on, you know, a mid-range sort of steering wheel? I don't need to. I've got 1999's worth of controller here or something.
Yeah, it's like I've always wanted a wheel, but it's always been like, oh, it's so expensive to get a whole setup and stuff. So the first thing to go to was always like, yeah, get a controller.
Oh, and someone's just Benjamin Rossini has just span out there and just head-butted the Armco. And whilst we say that, Rick Binnersley has also slowed down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying, sorry, controllers, go for it.
Yeah,
So I think the thing with the controller is that you've obviously got the muscle memory down of how much to use that controller and how much to push on that thumbstick to get very smooth inputs. Whereas you get an old boy like me with a controller, and let me tell you, you know, that car will be all over the place. So I suppose the question I'm posing to you is it simply just a case of practice and sort of, you know, muscle memory with regards to the car and its position on the track? Because if I was racing with you and you were alongside me and I knew you were on a controller, I'd be nervous. But I suppose I don't need to be.
yeah, I think it's really muscle memory. Like in the beginning, I also always spun out and always missed my braking point, so I run wide, and it's like a lot of practicing, because in a controller you don't get a lot of feedback from like your car in game. I know on racing wheels you get a lot of force feedback, which is really helpful for controller control and stuff. And you don't really have that, so it's really like, yeah, muscle memory and stuff. But I think that it's not that difficult to get into. Like if you practice a little bit, you can get into it.
Yeah.
So I guess you could give it a try.
No, I don't think so. I'd be as much use as a chocolate ashtray, as a fish with breasts. It's no use to anyone whatsoever. Interesting watching Jens Fielder and Martin Peterman, both from Zero Force, and you know, Yen was just looking at Martin Peterman coming down to T1 there, but of course 90 left. He was, you know, Martin broke a bit late there. But these guys here, you know, in second and third place, with Limpan out in front there with a 2-second lead to Martin Peterman. Good to see, as I said earlier on, you know, members from other clubs come join us on these Thursday nights, and these guys are regulars from Zero Force. So hats off to Zero Force for producing such great talent, and hats off to Martin and Yen for joining us yet again for a Thursday night. And I think, actually, correct me if I'm wrong, are you in the F1 League at the minute, Forgotten?
I am not at the moment.
I think these guys are. I think they've blessed us with a position. Now, so we are now looking at Luca and Orange, as Orange is now challenging Luca. No, sorry, Luca is challenging Orange. Luca is in the grey, and Orange is in the white. Do you think he's holding him up?
I think he might. I think he's gonna pass him. But he will have to do it fast, because he only has, I think, 1 round left.
Yeah, we're on the final lap now with Limpan. We're going to flick it back on auto director as Limpan crossing first position with Martin Peterman in second and Yen Fielder from Zero Force Racing. The pair of them, very many congratulations in second and third.
And Charger in 4th place.
Charger in 4th place, again, quite extraordinary. This man will, you know, it has been known for him to pull out the Zimmer frame, hoddle to the electric wheelchair that he's got, zip off down to the Victory Services Club and actually buy a beer. And I think he might do that tonight.
I hope he enjoys it.
Wonderful. Great, so there you go. That was the end of the race. So Limpan first, Peterman second, Fielder third, Charger fourth. Well done, Charger. Orange managed to climb back up into 5th. Luca Gray challenging in 6th. Debug 7th. C-Sam 8th with that off. Otherwise he would have been right at the front. That's all it takes. If you come off the grey stuff on a short race, then you will lose position and you are going to fight your way through. There isn't the time to be able to have much of an effect. Isaacs, the young smug, in 9th. FX in 10th. Shout out to Gandalf as usual, our tech support. Pinpoint 11th. Great Pinpoint. Timo in 12th. Cos in 13th. Tico 14th. Rigel down in 15th, clearly an incident from earlier on. Edwin in 16th. RWB Ninja or Benjamin Rossinia in 17th. Rick Binnersley in 18th. And Eddie Ellis from the US of A joining us at 19th position. Wonderful. Well done, Forgotten. I really enjoyed my time with you. How did you feel?
Nervous.
Yeah, but you know, that will come. It will come. Most certainly. It will get much easier. We'll talk to you later on. Thank you very much for joining us. And
thank you
we
for
look
having
forward to hearing from you again. No, not at all. No, thank you for stepping up to the plate and giving it a bash. It's not easy. Well done to you. Great, awesome. Well, let's introduce our next guest then. So our next, well, where are we first of all? Well, let me tell you. We're in the United States of America. We are at the Sonoma Raceway in Northern California, and that is a great segue to introduce you to our next commentator, our 4th commentator of the evening, which is RWB Draco from the United States of America. Draco, how are you?
Good evening, Mr. Tiger. How are we doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. I know that you joined us slightly late, etc. I don't know how much you heard from the other guys. They've done a fantastic job, and clearly we wish you as much luck and as much fun for this race at Sonoma Raceway. Do you know anything about this track?
You know, I've got to be honest with you, I don't, but this is actually one of the most beautiful tracks. I used to be in this area, and the area in Northern California where this is at is an absolutely beautiful area. It's just lots of green, lots of sun. It's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. So we've got 6 minutes qualifying in front of us now. A bit more about the track. So Sonoma Raceway, Northern California in the United States of America. It's about an hour north of San Francisco. So you're looking at the western edge of the US, the sort of west. I don't think there is such a thing as a western seaboard, is there, Draco?
You call it the West Coast.
West Coast, Eastern Seaboard, West Coast. So on the West Coast, 12 corners around it, 8 on the right, 4 left. There's S's, there's a chicane, there's a hairpin, there's a parabolica, there's 8 circuit type layouts. And this is one of the busiest motorsport facilities in the United States of America, short of the Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. Started in 1968, used to be known as Sears Point, and this is really a mecca in the United States. The United States has got some great circuits, and we could spend all night talking about those circuits, but the fact is, if you don't know Sonoma Raceway, you don't know motor racing. End of story. They have everything here. Muscle Car Series, NASCAR, they have drag strips here. You've got Skip Barber Training School and Racing School here, which the actual home and headquarters is in Sonoma, and they've got presence in other tracks around the US, Road Atlanta and so on. Trans Am, sports cars, historics, AMA. There isn't a day that goes past where Sonoma Raceway hasn't got something on. It's a very, very famous track, and it's one of the favourites of a lot of the top racers in RWB. Rodders loves it, Speedmon loves it, Rigel loves it, even Charger loves it. Lots of people love it, and it can be quite challenging.
I tell you what, the old man has been tearing up the track here today. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get another top 5 out of Charger?
I think he needs a drug test. I think he needs a drug test after that. 2nd and 4th. Was it 4th or 6th? Doesn't matter. He's been right up there. And with all seriousness, and I keep saying it, and I'm gonna say it again. Someone just goes off there. What a shame. That's the whole point of having that ballast, is to enable, the middle and the rear runners the opportunity to lead, and for those who are faster to practice their racecraft and work their way through. And I'm not taking anything away from Charger for coming 2nd. Good for him.
Absolutely. It was good to see him up towards the front of the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as I said earlier on, 12 corners. Now, these corners are all, again, all numbered corners. Auto director's just gone on. I'm not sure why that happened. It shouldn't have done. I hope no one's messing around with the doodah. 12 corners in total, but actually 11 is split down into 11B and 11A and so on. So I suppose when you add them all up, it could be about 16 different corners. 17 runners for this one. 3 minutes left of qualifying. Hopefully we're going to get some qualifying times up now as we see Martin Peterman come along the main straight. Let's jump in the cockpit with him. Do you know this circuit well enough to take us around, Draco?
I can definitely go ahead and wing it.
Go for it.
So we've got a pretty good abrupt right corner here, so we're following here Mr. Peterman, I guess, right?
That's right. We're in cockpit with Mr. Peterman. Leave the camera controls and just say what you see on the screen.
Sure, absolutely. So we've got a little bit of a tight right coming in with a little bit of elevation change. Definitely can get away from you there if you're not careful with your speed and your exit from that turn. Once again, a little bit of change of elevation, sweeping left. Coming up a little bit hard, and case in point. Looks like we missed the exit point on there, Martin. Oh my!
Look at that.
Oh dear.
Let's stick with him.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's see.
There we go.
Looks
You
like
want to pick it up from there?
Good old FX. So once again, we're in that sweeping right, and looks like some other people still haven't caught the gist of that downward trend there. It changes the actual, physics of the car too. You do lose a little bit of grip when you get down that hill, so you've really got to be careful. Into that left turn, wide out, and it's a long straight. Tight right, looks like a hairpin there. Into the chicane. Nice line, a good short right, looks like a mini straight. 90-degree left. Oh, it's another chicane, my apologies. And out through, and a very tight right once again. Looks like that goes right back to the starting line. Short straightaway there, and back off to the left.
Good job. Just in the last 40 seconds, what's the difference between a game and a sim? Well, I'll tell you, a game is not going to factor in weight shifting, weight balance, elevation, and tyre and brake wear. And of course, a sim will do. And you heard Draco there, and of course, I'm speaking to the RWB members and everyone else, but that's the difference, is that you are going to see that sort of weight shifting. You are going to see your brakes fading after a particular period of time. You are going to see weight transfer going up hills. You are going to see your light on the wheels, particularly on some of these hills that crest out. The apex is on the crest, particularly around turn 1 to 4. This is really a challenging track, isn't it, Draco?
This looks like a nightmare for the uninitiated like myself. Let me tell you, this is going to give me a little bit of pause before I go ahead and hop in the car for this one.
Okay then, 50 seconds to get out. 50 seconds to get out on track. Their last chance for a quick pee, a quick Hail Mary, and a quick. I'm sure Charger will be praying to the racing gods now to come in the top 5 again.
If you
listen
does. Very carefully, I think you can hear it.
Well, he's completely deaf, isn't he?
Yeah, but we're not. That's the problem.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, it's quite extraordinary. I think I told you about his ailments, but he is a true tour de force, Charger. He's a great example to everyone. If you've got a cold and you can't do it, but Charger does it with his ailments, it's quite unbelievable. Red lights are on. When the green lights are off, the stage is yours. Take us around, please, Draco.
And they're off into turn 1. We got Sammy actually pulling up the head. FX UK is actually jockeying with second, with Jans Filder, Luca Gray, Charger in 6th. Look at that! Bittersley taking out 7th, Debug into 8th, Orange into 9th, Limpan at 10th. Looks like we've got a bit of a separation going out, and someone's off the track. That's gonna set them back a little bit. First lap coming through, so looks like Sammy is still extending his lead. A little bit over half a second for Martin. We take a look at Sammy right now. He is actually looking dead on. Into the hairpin. Let's see how he takes this entry. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that.
He's a real master, Sam. Draco, very, very talented, and not surprising he's at the front there. He's got some ballast, but he really does command the performance out there. So he's a very talented racer.
You couldn't convince me he's got ballast by the way he's driving. That kid looks like he's glued to the track. Look at that.
Yeah.
So taking a look right now, we still have Sammy tearing it up in the front, and Mr. Martin Peterson now kind of lagging a little bit behind, a second off the pace. Jans, Luca, Charger, Limpin, and Bittersley as they go ahead and round out the top 7. Debug is definitely falling behind a little bit, but looks like he's making a little bit of... Looks like we got a battle here over at 4th to 5th. Jans, of course, from Zero Force Racing. Mr. Peter.
Oh, Charger! Charger nearly went off.
I saw that, yep.
Heart in my mouth. Charger nearly went off there, yeah.
Let's see how he recovers. He's definitely getting at it, though. Yeah, it's a good recovery. Remember, it's not always how you fall down, but how you get back up after.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, and you know, I think he just managed to hold it off. I think he just lost traction from a bit of weight shifting coming over that crest. Being challenged now by Limpan, who's very, very quick. Just takes him on the inside there. I think Charger will hold his resolve coming into the S's. The S's, very tight. Limpan, be careful. But he was just stayed glued to him like he's been spread on with Araldite.
Yeah, we need to tell Limpan if he likes Charger's paint set so much, he should go ahead and use it instead of taking it off with Charger.
Yeah, quite, absolutely, yeah. But
Starting to look
Charger
like a
pulling
NASCAR
away.
race.
Limpan now 0.1213. You know, very, very close to him as Charger is chasing Luca. Great. Let's have a quick rundown from the top there. CSAM in first position. You can see there, you know, already commanding a bit of a gap there to Martin Peterman in second place. Fielder in third with Luca Gray in fourth. Behind Luca Gray, 2.6 seconds. Charger leading that second group there. Limpan behind him, and Rick Binnersley and Orange in that sort of second quadrant.
Looks like we got something good going up here between second and third. They are maintaining a very close pace with each other.
Yeah, for sure. And these two guys here, Martin Peterman and Jen Felder from Zero Force Racing, they seem to have as well come in, you know, and held hands for each event. And by that I mean that they have been right together, whether that's second and third or third and fourth. It just seems that these two are very evenly matched. And at the same point, of course, they're doing a great job for their own club by waving the colours of Zero Force.
And I've got to admit, when you're looking at their lines, their entries, their turn exits, they are very technical, clean, in, out, very, yeah, and as I said that, but
Commentators
they look sharp, you know, they look like they're dead on their entries, they're exiting very well.
Oh, as Charger goes off, he just can't help himself, you know, whenever he, you know, dogs come, whenever you show a dog, no matter how low they are, a ball and throw it, they'll stop what they'll do and they'll go and chase it. If Charger sees his grass more than an inch long, he's got to go off track and cut it. He can't help himself. Back down to 14th place. Such a shame for Charger because he was doing very, very well there, wasn't he?
He was really holding his own in there. It's amazing what'll happen. One bad turn, I can turn everything around.
That's right. Race clean, race fair, race for position. If you race clean, you're staying on the grey stuff. And if you stay on the grey stuff, and if you've got some pace, you might lose the opposition by some faster members. But the point is, nothing gives away positions more than coming off of the grey stuff. I'm making it sound like it's very easy. This is not easy. This is hard. This is not, you know, Call of Duty, you know, point and shoot. This is not point and squirt. This is a simulation where weight transfer, weight balance, the position of the car, the sensitivity of the car, the throttle response and so on is all part of the modelling. If this was a flight sim, you're looking at a professional flight model with these cars. So it's not easy, but don't think it is. It's not a point and squirt. This is not Gran Turismo 1995.
Not for the faint of heart either. Lots of practice, lots of dedication. You gotta love what you're doing here.
Yeah, for sure. And these guys do. 17 runners there. I think Isaacs has retired. That's a shame, Isaacs. But I think you had a couple of good battles tonight. So good to see you out there. Pinpoint currently running in 16th. We'll work our way forward. We'll keep a close eye on the timings, Draco, and flick to them. But yeah, Pinpoint
Gotcha.
In 16th. Timo in now in 14th place. Edwin up into 13th. FX to 12th. And hunting down TK 0.7 second behind him. Koz, good to see Koz right there. Look at that, smack bang in the middle, and that's what happens when you stay on the grey stuff. You'll never see this guy come off the grey stuff, Draco, as I was expecting him to come off some old 4x4 and built his own sim rig. You know, fair play. I'll tell you now, he absolutely adores it. I've seen pictures of it, and at first you want to chuckle, and then you think to yourself, well, if you was to exchange all those bits of wood for aluminium, that would be a perfect sim rig. So this is how serious these guys are.
I might have to ask him for the plans.
Oh, we'll sell them to you.
Another thing to give my wife a headache.
Yeah. Back to you, Draco. First position now, we're watching CSAM.
All right, so we're over in, I believe that was turn 3. Down the hill. Looks like we've got some pretty good combination for second and third here, but we got CSAM in first, Peterman in second, Fiedler in third, Gray in fourth, and it looks like there is a large gap, and we've got a little bit of a track limit here for Timo. Sorry, bud. That happens to the best of us. After Gray, we've got Mr. Binnersley, Limpan, Orange, and Haig running out the top 7. And that that gap continues to grow from Sammy. He is really tearing it up.
Yes, he is. As the flag has gone down, they're on the last lap now. So when he crosses the line, he will win. He's only a couple of corners. He's got the hairpin to go.
Hairpin to go, and that's off to the straight, and that's off to the winner's circle. So bringing in the win, it's going to be Sammy in first. It looks like Peterman in second, Fiedler in third, Gray in fourth. We're looking for Binnersley. Oh, and a quick move to the outside. Didn't quite get him, but Limpin almost had him. Orange in 7th. John Haig crossing in 8th. Debug into 9th. Mr. Cause in 10th. TK over in 11th. Looks like we missed that. Sorry.
Charger won a place, look.
And there he goes, the old man himself. Ooh, lucky number 13. That's not bad. FX over in 14. Timo in 15. Pinpoint. Well, we're kind of waiting on Pinpoint. Here we go.
Come on, Pinners. Good lad. Keep it on the grey stuff. I think Pinners has got a bit of ballast. Not a great deal, but I think he's got some, and he crosses in 16th.
Nicely
He's the
done.
last runner, I think, isn't he?
Yes. Isaac had to go ahead and bow out a little early.
Awesome. Well, very, very well done. How did you enjoy that? You enjoyed that?
Oh, best fun I could ever have with my pants on, sir.
Well, I think you've done a great job, and it was good to talk to you. Now we're going to do something slightly different now, because what I'm going to do now is we're going to unmute everybody. So there we go. We've unmuted everybody. So C-Hacks, Draco, Jammer, and Forgotten, you're now joining us all for the last race as we transition to the last race, which is Silverstone. C-Hacks, I'd like you to lead on this as the lead commentator, as I'm going to take a back seat once I've given everyone an intro on the Silverstone. But I'd like you to take lead on this because I'm keen that you get some racing time. And work with each other. Try not to talk over each other, but add some value to the stream. You've all got your strengths, and you know, the holistic whole is far better than the individuals. So where are we for this final one? It's a perfect, and there's that word again, Charger hates it, segue to the F1 League round 4. No, round 5. No, round 4. I'll confirm that later. Round 4 this weekend at Silverstone. The F1 League, Saturday, 9:30. We're at Silverstone, the Central England, county of Northamptonshire. Silverstone, regarded as the jewel in the British racing crown. This particular track is the full GP circuit. That's the full GP circuit. Silverstone goes back to World War II. During World War II, pretty much if there was green grass in the UK, we built an airfield on it. And after World War II, we were convinced that one day we'd be at war with someone else. So we kept them airfields. To this day, those airfields are still in use by weekend flyers and so forth. And also, of course, most have been turned into racing circuits, and Silverstone is one of those. Home of the Wellington Bombers during World War II, and it saw its first informal race in 1947 and then formally in 1948. So very well known. Nothing needs more to be said. That's the end of practicing. We're now on to qualifying. C-Hacks, Jammer, Draco, Forgotten. You've done a fantastic job, C-Hacks. over to you.
Thank you. I got a minute. Let me just get my mic.
Laying down, he's having a sleep.
Right, here we go. Yeah. So, well, this is what the 5th round now in the mini league. So we've had 4 fantastic races, lots of drama, some jostling between the front leaders. So I know we've seen Lim win a few. We've seen Sammy up at the front. Martin Peterman has run a fantastic evening tonight. He's been right up there at the front pretty consistently throughout the evening. And so has Yen Fielder, but the sort of the fox amongst the hens tonight has definitely been Charger. What do you think about Charger's performance tonight, Gemma?
I think he's had a fantastic performance. He's obviously a lot higher than he's used to, and I'm sure he's going to be extremely happy with his performance tonight, giving himself a pat on the back, and I'm sure he'll be getting some more money and buying himself a huge stack of colostomy bags and.
Yeah. So he had a bit of a rough one in the last one. He made a little bit of a mistake, but I'm almost certain he will be dead chuffed with his result this evening, and I'm looking for good things from him tonight in this last event. I'm looking forward to keeping an eye on him. Apart from obviously Charger, is there anybody else that you think's been sort of putting in an extra special performance tonight, Drake?
I gotta be honest with you, man. I like the kid. I like Isaac. I've seen him in other races and other matches previously. I mean, he's always consistent. Just had a bad night, but I think he's.
You've just cut off there, Draco. I think you pushed the talk button, maybe.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you there, yeah. So you were just talking about Isaac.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's due. The kid had a bad night here a little bit earlier, but I think he could do it. I've seen him in previous races. He is very sound, technically sound. The kid knows when to go ahead and get in and get out of the turn. I think this is it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good race. Isaac's definitely had a good night, a good race to see this evening. What I will say is, obviously, he's Rigel's son, so John Haig, our resident track master, Mr. Smug. He's Isaac's dad, and clearly Isaac is following in his footsteps, and becoming obviously a top RWB racer. So good on him.
I would really love to see them battle it out, to be honest, and it's, I suppose, experience over age, and Rigel being the quick racer that he is, and the genes have obviously been passed down the family line, and I would really love to see them going wheel to wheel. I'm sure they've got a rivalry between them, being father and son, so I think there's an interesting dynamic which to watch out for there.
Can you imagine the rivalry at the dinner table after that? Whew, that would be a.
Yeah, go on, John.
I would love to be on the fly on the wall. I really would.
Yeah, I can imagine there's lots of gentle ribbing and banter between the two of them. No love lost, I should imagine, on the racetrack though. They're not in a team, so they are direct competitors. So, it would be great to see them duking it out. Let's talk about somebody else then. So who can we have a look at this evening? So let's Luca Gray. So Squid Flipper, Squid Licker, Squid Titter, our 14-year-old, a young whippersnapper on the track. So Luca is, one of the really fast guys out there. He's not had a fantastic evening this evening, actually. He's not quite been up at the top with the front runners like he normally is on a Saturday. Do we think that might have something to do with the change of car? Maybe he's not too confident in the DTM car, Forgotten? What do you think?
I think that might.
You just cut out there a minute, a second there.
Oh, sorry. I think it might be the car, because they are quite difficult to drive. They got a lot of power, and I don't feel like they don't have as much downforce, especially the older ones, like the ones from 2016. They have quite a lot of downforce, but the ones from 2015, they don't have that much, so I think that might be the case.
So qualifying is up then. Looks like we've got C Sammy on pole with a 148.3, Orange with a 159.4, and Debug, a surprise result from Debug. So Debug's up into third, starting third on the grid with a 159.7. Peterman in fourth, again up there with the front runners. Rick Binnersley, who's been one of the sort of mid to low pack runners this evening, has actually moved up into fifth. Surprise result, so John Haig is way down. Charger is in a nice comfortable 8th position though, so he's been in the middle of the pack all evening at the start, but has managed to gain good ground during the race, and obviously we'll be looking for good things from Charger in this race.
I think it's
Take a look
worth.
at that. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. All I was going to say is I think it's worth noting with qualifying in the mini league, it's quite important because you only really get one shot, and placing higher up in the grid is quite important. Being a short race, you have to get your moves done quickly, and starting in the first or second row is really important to make sure that you get a clean getaway. Don't get involved in the the fighting in the back of the pack. So really important qualifying here.
Yeah, keep in mind too that from second to fifth place, the actual difference in times between the whole area was only 0.3 of a second. So we're going to look at something pretty exciting here past the first place area. There might be a lot of jostling around.
Sure, it's going to be a pretty exciting start. So we've got 15 seconds of garage time now. So the guys are just getting into the rig, having the last sips of the drinks, last drag of the cigarettes, and the red lights are on. Draco, do you want to take us for the start?
Can do. So we're waiting for the green light. And they're off. We've got, looks like Orange. Nope, I'm sorry. That's C Sammy right now that's actually pulling ahead. Can't say it's a little bit of a surprise, but he is definitely pulling away. Peterman in second, Orange in third, Rick Binnersley in fourth, Debug in fifth, Haig in sixth. And looks like Binnersley is making a challenge. He's stepping up to fourth. And he's on the outside. Oh, almost had that for third, but looks like he's settling in.
Yeah, it looks like Debug had a bad start there, so he was second or third, and he's now down into seventh. So it looks like Debug has had a rough first. Charger is up 2 positions into sixth now, so Charger has moved up 2 positions. So go on, lad, keep it on the grey stuff. You're doing a great job. Sammy again is leading up the front. Peterman is second. Orange has been at the back most of the evening today, but he's actually managed to pull up into third now, so he's having a really good race. Over to you, Jammer.
You got to remember, everyone's going to be pretty familiar with this track now, with the practice going on all week for the F1 League. Everyone's going to be pretty dialed in, although it's in a different car. Everyone's going to have their racing lines. It's a particularly difficult track, and this section here is absolutely fantastic in the F1 cars. You really, get a sense of that speed and just the amount of downforce they're generating, and they won't be getting that in these cars. They'll be sliding all over the place. The back end will step out, so it's going to be difficult.
Say that, yeah, somebody's just gone flying off the car. It's all bashed into the wall there. An absolutely horrific move there. I'm not sure who that was, but they're clearly going to be at the back of the.
I've got a feeling that's Limpan, possibly.
Yeah, that was the Swede with speed, so bad luck, Limpan. That's unfortunate, mate. He was one of the top boys in the earlier. Forgotten, have you had much practice around Silverstone recently? Have you? I'm not sure if you're taking part in the league, but I do know you've been having a few practice sessions. So have you had a go around here in the F1 cars?
I haven't in the F1 cars. I've been around the place a few times during the mini league, but I haven't actually done it with the F1 cars. I should do that actually. But I can imagine that it's a really fun track with the F1 cars.
Yeah, it's great. It's great in the F1, but I mean, it's great no matter what. It's a fantastic course. This obviously it's been recently refurbished in the last, I think, 5 to 10 years, maybe. And the new layout is absolutely But anyway, so we're on board with Luca here. So Luca's actually battling with Charger. Charger's in holding 7th position, so he's actually lost the position to Debug, who's back up into 6th position now. Charger holding his own though. He's getting a good draft off of Debug, and he's racing a good clean race. Debug there moving over to the right to try and break the draft. Charger just squeezing up on the left. No, Debug's managed to close the door on him, but Charger coming up on the right hand side. He's actually slowed down a little bit, and that's given Luca the chance to actually go 3 wide then into the S's, and side by side with Charger holding his own. Oh, it's going to be tight. There's a little bit. Yeah, and Debug just manages to hold position, so well done there. But Charger now down into 8th position.
Once again, guys, look at those times. That area between 3rd and 8th is very, very close. There is a lot of battling to take place.
Charger going up on the inside there. A little bit of door rubbing there with Luca, but Luca did push out wide there. So Charger up into 7th position. Well done, Charger.
I think we're seeing a fine example of some fantastic racing going on here. Nice and clean. They're giving each other respect. They're giving each other the room. It's really great to see. And like you said, it's really close between the midfield.
Yeah, there's actually a train of 4 cars there, so this is a fantastic race going on. Lots of action, lots of duking it out. These guys are really pulling all the punches for the final event. On board with Luca then, he's back down into 8th position, he's going up on the inside of Charger. Charger just squeezes him on the inside, pushes him onto the sausage, and Luca has lost a little bit of time, giving FX a chance to sniff up the inside. But no, Luca holds onto position, FX still stays in 9th. Charger's holding 7th and chasing down on Debug. Debug has actually pulled away now. He's actually almost a second away. But yeah, these guys are still... Oh, no, they're still in a nice tight train.
I think it might be worth looking at a 2nd to 4th place as well. There seems to be some very, very close battle going on up there as well, if we can get a chance to see that. So we've got Martin Peterman in 2nd place, closely followed by Orange, and then you've got Rick breathing down his neck. And we're going to see some really good racing from these guys, I'm sure, very respectful. It'll be interesting to see how this little battle pans out at the same time.
So yeah, only 3...
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Kaz has actually made a push. He started the race down at 14th, and look where he's at now. He's up to 10th.
Yeah, great stuff from Kaz. That's a fantastic result. He's actually, he's 6 positions up, so he's doing really well.
Kaz always does himself a favour because he stays on the grey stuff. He waits for other people to fall off, and he picks up the pieces slowly but surely. But he's very consistent in that.
That's how you win, by being consistent.
Sammy's really pulling away now. Looks like the actual gap from 1st to 2nd has grown from 1 3/4 seconds, and he's almost up to 3.5. He is running away with it.
So yeah, Sammy running a really good race, but on so we're watching Debug here. So we're back now with the sort of middle pack of Debug, Charger, Luca, and FX, and these guys are running a really tight, action-packed race. There's only 1 minute 40 left on the clock, so maybe a lap, maybe another lap to go. So these guys are going to be elbows out, throwing the cars, late moves, lots of rubbing, trying to get around each other to get that extra position and get some extra points for the league. So some really fantastic tight racing. So we're on board here with Charger. Charger holding his own, so he's managed to hold on to 2nd position in that pack. Debug again still at the front, but Charger coming up, looking up the inside here. He's not managed to get him on the brakes, but he's challenging.
I think he's showing himself, isn't he, to Debug. He wants to say, I'm here, if you fall off the track, I am taking your position. And I think he's just hoping that Debug's going to make a mistake and just let him through. And, it's so difficult to overtake on this track. And, putting that pressure on and hoping for that mistake, he is going to be, crossing his fingers, he's going to be crossing his toes, he's going to be crossing his colostomy bag. He is going to be all over him like a bad rash.
And speaking of bad rashes, then we've got what's this? It's Luca. Luca's sniffing up the inside of Charger. He's really trying to challenge for that position. He's pushing. It's almost, it's really right up his arse. But he's not going to be able to get around him. So it's not looking like it's. Do you think Oh no, FX looking up the inside here on Luca. He's not able to make a move, but Charger's pushed wide there. Luca's looking up the inside. Debug has moved down into 7th position, and Charger is into 6th place. Well done, Charger. How's it going to look on the brakes here? So, a little bit of contact there from Debug and Luca side by side. Luca just managing to move up into 7th position, so Debug has lost 2 places there as they come over the line. So Charger has managed to get 6th. Oh no, this is not the line. It's not the finish, is it?
Not yet.
Oh, it's the wrong. Oh God! Somebody else take it.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to be desperate at this point. Luca is going to be very frustrated. He does not like to be behind anyone. He loves to be out front, leading the race. And he, with these short races, you are desperate to get past him. You can see that in some of the driving as well. With some of the shunting, that they are getting desperate.
And Debug is breathing down Charger's neck. He's going to make a move. Watch this guy.
I think that's Luca on Debug. If I'm honest with you, Charger's pulling away. Actually, Charger is almost a second in front now. So this is actually the battle. The two black cars is a battle between Debug and Luca, with Debug in front. FX is staying with them, so you don't discount FX. There's a good chance that he is going to make a move if one of these guys make a mistake. Luca and Debug are rubbing. Have had a little bit of contact recently. And FX is.
He's got. He got a big off.
Commentator's curse. We mention his name and off he goes. So that's FX out of this battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. But back on board with Debug, he's it didn't look like Charger's actually extending away. So no, we're looking at Rick Binsley now. So it's a little battle between Binsley and Peterman. Looks like. Oh no, is that orange? I can't tell. The timings are crazy. Peterman's 5 seconds behind. Rick Binsley is 1 second behind. So this is Binsley and orange. Looks like Binsley's managed to hold his position there, though, so that's good. Orange in 4th then. So they're crossing over the line. Crap, yeah. So Sam is 1. Peterman has come 2nd. Binsley's come 3rd. Orange is coming 4th. Isaac is coming 5th. Charger pulling through in 6th position then. Well done, Charger. Debug in 7th. Luca in 8th. I think Cos is just bringing up the rear in 9th. But yeah, that's a fantastic result from Charger. So Charger qualified in 9th, and now he's up into 6th. What do you think of that, Forgotten?
He's done some really great racing, especially getting away from Debug and Luca. Was really great racing, because they would have got him if he didn't manage to get that gap, I think.
Yeah, it was some really phenomenal racing there. I was super excited to watch and to commentate on, so hats off to those guys. But Sammy with the win, with the fastest lap as well. You got Peterman in 2nd, Binsley in 3rd, Orange in 4th, Isaac in 5th, Charger in 6th, well done Charger, Debug in 7th, Luca in 8th, Cos in 9th, TK in 10th, FX in 11th, Fiedler, a surprise from him in 12th, Rigel way back down in 13th, so that is a surprise result for him. Knitzi in 14th, Alejandro, one of our newer drivers, way down in 15th, and Limpan did not finish, so that off for him must have been pretty nasty.
Awesome. Wow, very well done to C-Hacks, to Jammer, to Draco, and to Forgotten, who commentate on that last race. I'm sure you'll agree. They've done an absolutely fantastic job, and it was very informative. And of course, excuse me, it's always great to hear that variation. And yeah, I take my hat off, fellas. It's not easy, and I'm sure you'll when I give you stage after I close down, I'm sure you'll agree on that. But you've done a wonderful job, and I doff my hat in respect to all of you. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse, I need a cough. Excuse me. So that was the conclusion of another Thursday night mini league. We were at Most, then we went to Zhuhai, Oscherleben in Germany, Sonoma in the United States, and finished off in Silverstone as a segue to remind you of the 5th round. Earlier on I said the 4th, apologies. 5th round of the Formula One this Saturday, 21:30, 9:30 p.m, which will be live Wow, Speed. I know you're not feeling too good with a disease that only aliens could survive. If we had but 1% of it, it would wipe out the entire of the human race. But what did you think of the racing tonight?
That was some excellent racing, also some excellent commentating from the guys. I've sat here all night listening to it, and it's been absolutely amazing. You should be well proud of yourselves. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but you've done it, and it was great to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely, it was, and I'm not just saying that. That absolutely it was. It was really, really, genuinely great to hear you all interact with each other. And going forward, ladies and gents, look out for those guys that you've heard tonight, because they're going to be invited to do some more commentating. And they've stuck with us tonight. They've given up their racing time, so don't be at all surprised if you hear any of those talented people commentating on your racing, RWB members. They do it for you predominantly. Our guests, they do it second, and everyone else, of course, for them as well. Yep, fantastic. So, Speed, do you want to talk to us about random number?
Yeah, the random number for tonight was 7, and that is Mr. Ben Davis. So here he
Ben.
is.
Orange.
Hello.
Very many congratulations. Our random number, but also perfectly poignant that you're here. We'll talk about commentating in a minute, but those 5 tracks tonight and in that car, how did you get?
Well, I've started taking a bit of time to get used to it. When I first started, I seemed to be younger. I could just acclimatise to it better. But at the moment, the first 2 races, I'm always a bit sketchy. But the last few, especially the last one, pretty good. Really, really good fun. But the cars with the mini league, the cars always vary. Tonight, I found they were a little bit fragile. I think it's the best word. You can't touch the curb. You can't be too violent with them, basically. So, yeah, they're a nice little challenge, but really fun to drive.
Yeah, great. And talking of the F1 league, the reason why we put that track in last, obviously, that's our 5th round. You're in the F1 league at the minute. How are you confident for Saturday?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm not in the F1 league.
Yeah, I knew that. Pretend you are. No one's listening. We're on silent mic.
Oh right, okay. So the last one, the Silverstone.
No, I'm talking about Silverstone. Is one of your favourite tracks?
Never used to be. I used to really hate Silverstone. It was for me, if I'm gonna like a track or dislike a track, it's completely dependent on whether I instantly click with it. If I don't click with it, I don't enjoy it. And previously, all of the times I've driven on Silverstone, I've just not clicked. But tonight, I've just really enjoyed it. Might be because of the car. I did enjoy driving that car around Silverstone. But yeah, tonight, I absolutely loved it.
Awesome. Well, we enjoyed watching you when we saw you, and in the future, we're looking forward to opening our commentary doors to invite you to that. I know you're keen and you've shown an interest, and sadly tonight didn't come off. Anyway, look, I'm going to give the final words before we see the stream out to our wonderful guests tonight: C-Hacks, Jammer, Draco, Forgotten. How did you get on tonight? What were your thoughts and feelings of it? Obviously, we don't want to take too much of the stream time up, but the mic is yours. Draco, why don't you start us off?
Was an absolute blast. Just invite me again and I'll keep chugging them out. This was really fun to watch these guys. Clean racing, definitely just having a great time, even in the most adverse conditions where they don't know the car or the track. It was just really a magnificent thing to watch.
Wonderful. Jammer, words from you.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this evening. Actually, more than I thought I would, which was surprising. And yeah, some really great racing tonight. Very good to see Charger with his wonderful 2nd place. I'm sure he's very happy. And some really interesting racing, especially with the guys from the other clubs as well, showing their hands. And really great to see them here as well.
Yeah, awesome. C-Hacks, your final words.
So yeah, tonight's been great. The racing's been fantastic. There's been lots of action, lots of clean, but also competitive racing. It's been an absolute joy to commentate. So thanks for this opportunity. Thank you.
Not at all. Thank you. And Forgotten, our final commentator word from you.
Yeah, I loved it so much. It was amazing. I've always loved watching like motorsport, Formula One rally and stuff, but this just makes it feel so much closer, and I really enjoyed watching it. I loved commentating, so it was a really great evening.
Well, good for you, and good for you, C-Hacks and Draco and Jamie. You've done great jobs. It's not easy, this, but you all stepped up to the plate, and in my view, you've done a bloody marvellous job. We're very much looking forward to you doing some more and being part of our sort of commentary team. I'm really happy, Speed, aren't you? It feels like we've had children.
Yeah, it feels nice just to step back for 10 minutes and not do anything.
Bloody marvellous, weren't they? Okay, so I'm going to close down the scream now. The scream. It was a scream. I'm going to close down the stream. Listen, if you want to find out more about RWB, then pop along to our website, rwbracing.club. You'll find all the information there about us. More importantly, you'll find that Discord link. Click on the link. Come on in. If you're not sure what to do or to speak to, just ask anybody with an RWB tag. They are the most friendliest, down-to-earth bunch of people you're ever going to come across. So it only leaves me to say he's been Speed.
He's been Tiger.
He's been Jammer.
He's been C-Hacks.
He's been Draco. And he's been Forgotten.
That's right. He's been forgotten.
He's not sure where we left off. The actual list got a little bit bigger.
Nice.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thanks very much, everybody. You know what we say. Don't race alone. Race RWB. See you Saturday, 21:30, Formula One League. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.